I greet you in the love and the light of our Ultimate One Creator. Just got a little bit more info. The positive beings were definitely extraterrestrial. There's thousands of ships in our skies, just out our atmosphere, using cloaked technology to hide. They're waiting for the humans to align, basically. Now, when this happens, or we've already arranged it to, we've already done it so it's happening, so it's in the motion, if you know what I mean. It's not like a process that'll be like a light switch process, you know what I mean. It'll it's gradually and gradually. Well, basically, the extraterrestrials have parked at the ships. They're all here, ready. So they know when it's going to happen. They know all the information. They don't want to set panic in humans and think that we're getting taken over by aliens. This is not what they want to achieve, and they're not going to achieve that. They're going to show themselves when everybody else accepts it to be true. They're hoping the governments tell everybody it's true, but that doesn't seem to be happening. We've got the money thing happening in, when I say money thing, we're going back to gold. Gold-backed currencies around the world. Everyone, regardless of country. 180 countries, I'm told. Something like that, maybe, I don't know. But a lot of them. We know for a certain fact, this is not this channel and stuff. Other things, I know central banks around the world since 2008 have been buying gold, bullion. So we know the banking's already in process. I found out through the channeling that in 4 months, this has to be, within 4 months, has to be implicated. And this is God's will. We love God in our house. We love our Creator. You know, I prefer to call him Creator, but God's the same thing. We don't want to, these entities don't want to be coming here as liberators. They want to be coming here as partners. They're going to pass us all their excellent technology, anti-gravity, 0 point energy, all these technologies we're getting. See, governments are trying to slow it down because it's going to upset all the financial situations. They're doing the financial thing in parts. Do one country, then they'll do it like that, rather than putting a light switch on for all the country. Imagine the system that would take. I still believe it'll be X and not the Bitcoin. So, we need, Bitcoin's not transferable easy. That's the problem with it. It takes 4 hours, can cost thousands and thousands of pounds to send one Bitcoin. So we can, it's not a system that's sustainable. We don't know enough about it. We don't know anything really. Now, if we go to X or another platform, we can't transfer gold easy. It's not, we're not going to put a gold bullion in our pocket when we go up a pint or a loaf of bread. Are we? So we need something to transfer it easily with the technology that we've got. Now, we are going to get all this technology, and it's going to have an effect on the earth. The technology is going to work for the people, not the technology working against the people. This is the implications that we want to put in. Obviously, the way the money works in the UK now is at a deflationary, and they call it. Let me think. But basically, I'll come back to the name. Sorry about that. I should have written it down. Excuse me. Fractional banking, fractional banking. Sorry about that, taking a bit of time to get that out. But fractional banking is how the banking system runs. If we've got £100, they can put £1,000 on the balance sheet of any bank. If they've got £100 in the vault, they can put £1,000 on the. So what they do with that money, they get the £1,000, then they lend that £1,000 to another bank. That bank then does the same, so it puts the £1,000 in the bank. Then they put, they put, they times it by 9 every time. Every bank times it by 9, whatever the figure. It's an easy way to explain it. That sorry. So all the money doesn't exist. So if we go and ask for it back, we can't have it. That's the problem with this fractional banking system that we've adopted. And remember, people, and look on the Bank of England's website, and it tells you we have a liquidity line to the US. So really our pounds isn't pounds, it's dollars converted into pounds. And it's like that everywhere. So you can imagine what happens in America, and I'll explain this. When we had the financial crisis in 2008, we had a problem because US had a problem, people not paying the money back, and it crashed, right? In 2008, the high street banks crashed, in the UK because of what come over from America. Now, there was countries like Canada that didn't really have problems, that don't use that system. Well, they use that system, but they didn't have a problem because they haven't had an influx of money from the US. I know the US give them $200 billion a year in aid for looking after the armies and things like that, in Canada. Now, Australia wasn't massively affected either. But the UK was, as you're all seeing. So we all had to bail the banks out. Well done, Mr. Politician. We had no choice. I can see that we had no choice to bail them out. But remember, these banks are just making money on the screen. The government is doing the same. They're just printing more of it and hoping that's going to stop the floodgates. Well, it doesn't. It makes it worse because money doesn't go as far. So if you're one of the savers, your money's disappearing without you actually spending it. And I reckon it's at least 20% every year, at least. Prices are going up at least that. So in theory, your money's disappearing. Well, not in theory. In fact, your money's disappearing without the numbers disappearing because the prices are going up. That's what's the killer for it. And basically, we can't make enough money to keep up with that. Do you understand? As people who are using this banking system. So it's a dead set that this system isn't going to be going forward with us, So that's the banking side of things. These ships, like I say, they're hiding behind the moon, but these ships aren't just normal ships that we're expected. If you buzz back to the undetracted or what's available in the public domain about Buzz going over to when they were on the moon, when they were doing the moon landings, he says they're everywhere. The ships are massive. He says this, and it's all been detracted and edited, and they did go to the moon. I'm sure they went to the moon. I know that to be true, but they didn't tell everybody what they're seeing. There's humanoid entities on the moon, Mars, everywhere. And I'm told a lot of them are from these secret programs from the US. We've had all this technology available to some people in the US, deep state usually, available. Now, there's still massive controls over things that they've got, but they're pushing them out. The deep state, they're pushing out. And how they're doing that, they're sending love, light, energy to the negative people. Or arresting in military trials that are being kept secret for years, and these politicians are disappearing, and these, CEOs, thousands of CEOs have all stood down from massive companies, thousands of them, even more than what happened in 2008 when the crash happened. Obviously, these people know the crashes are coming because they're in the big companies. They know they can't pay the bills and things like that. They know so they're just packing, and they're doing that now in droves, people. So we know that this is coming, because of the signs that's happening on the ground, and we give thanks to get out of this prison. And I mean, everybody on earth is in prison. Financial prison, spiritual prison. They're using all sorts of technology to lower the vibration of the earth. But every time they put something like that in place, the positive beings are sending more love to us. So people are popping up. And I say popping up, I mean waking up to the full reality, having Kundalini experiences, now. And I give thanks for mine. And I give thanks to be awakened to the reality of life and the reality of what really happens. I don't care who believes me. I don't care. It don't matter. I believe it. So, that's anchoring more light into the earth. Every day I go out and feed my birds. I do service to others. I do service to the Creator as my, and this is why I'm doing this. This is the drive. It's not financial. It's something else. It's spiritual. I'm grateful for the tools that it gives me. That helps me manifest the things I need to do in my life to, progress my life. And I give thanks for it, but I'm not fearful of the people who are coming. They're not our enemies. There is extraterrestrials that would be our enemies, or have been our enemies, and they've been. See, what humans believe isn't true. The extraterrestrials or the reptilians, the Draco reptilians that I've spoke of before, they were all here before humans. The Anunnaki made humans to slave for the reptilians. It was all by design, people. Humans only exist because they were engineered by the reptilians or the Anunnaki. I'm not saying that quite right, but I don't, I think people understand what I'm saying. And we've got to give thanks for that. But it's all part of the design of humans. Our God light or our God consciousness was never distinguished. It was tried to, but it was never fully distinguished. So this is why they fear the humans, because we can be stronger than them, because we've got the higher emotions in us. We've got the higher chakras. The reptilians only have the bottom 3 chakras. Do you understand? The groin, solar plex, belly button, solar plex. They don't have heart chakra. They don't have throat chakra. They don't have the magical eye chakra and the crown chakra like humans. Because this gives us empathy. This gives us love. this gives us all these great emotions that are connected with the higher chakras. So I'm pleased as punch at the moment. I'm happy. I'm happy the progress is taken along. You know, it has been a drawn-out process, people. This has been happening slowly for at least half a century. The deep state have been in control for, you know, I don't know how long, but it's much longer. But these technologies have been available to humans and been on this planet since for 50 years at least. You know, so you know, it's time for humans. It's time for humans to join the rest of the universe in the positive light. You know, I'm not saying the reptilians won't exist still, because in the creator's eyes, everybody, when I say this, the reptilians can't move past the fourth. They can't go into I don't believe they can go into the higher dimensions. So if they're going to be negative, they have to stay in the lower dimensions. They can move up, but they have to switch to the positive. They have to switch to the light, my people. That's you know, it just doesn't exist, because if everyone's telepathic, right, why would you want to deceive somebody? It doesn't quite make sense. You know, why would you want to hurt somebody? If you can think, you know, you couldn't deceive anybody by lying to them because they're telepathic. So they know what you're thinking. They know the full story. We can't be abused once we get our telepathic abilities, people. We can't be abused. We stop the suppressors. We stop them. We stop them with love, and we love them, and we're grateful for them, and we're so happy to be around them. But they can't live with us, being this high vibrations. So at all costs, they need to lower the vibration. And the time's just run out, people. You understand? They've had their time on this earth. You know? And it deems by Creator God, not himself or herself, because God created her, has never had a body. You know, it's self, it's divided its light into monads, as in brains, as in to do this work, you know, to do this God's work, God's will, as we call it, you know. So don't think that people who come here have got anything to harm us. If they love us, they see us as their children or cousins or, you know, family members. You know, they don't see us as enemies, because we're not their enemy. We want to get into the light. We want the light to endure this beautiful planet of Gaia. I want to just run what I know. On the other side of the sun, direct opposite to us, mirror image, there's another planet called Gloria. And I give thanks to Gloria. Gloria is my dad's wife's name, and she's a breath of fresh air, and I give thanks for them. Love you so deeply. So this planet Gaia has always been in the positive. You know, our planet was taken out because it dropped so low, and put in a quarantine. So our low vibration couldn't affect the other planets. Well, when we go into the light, if we went into the lower vibrations, it would affect the other planets. And these don't want that. It's not fair on them. If we want to, if human decides, we want to, sorry, bear with me a sec, I've just put my